If a man came along, let's say y'all both make $500K a year. He's making $70K. He got a business plan. He got a vision. He's working towards that day in and day out. And you would have to look up at him on all the intangible. Does he get a chance?
No. I would rather be single. This is the thing.
Wow.
Let me tell you why. I have gotten to a certain point because I've built to a certain point. I am disciplined in everything. I'm disciplined in relationship with God, in my emotions, in my mentality, in my energy, in my body, and how I eat. I am very disciplined. And so I would expect that a man is the same thing. Because when you're disciplined, whatever you do the most is what compounds in your life. Why would I not give a shot to a person that makes $70,000 a year? I could put you on. Hell, I could even hire you. Come on, let's work together. We could do all of that. But as far as my man, because this is the thing, I refuse to give into a life where I start to feel like I can't have it all.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Like, I can't have it all.
There we go. Let's keep listening.
That's where the insatiableness and the gluttony, because if you already have it all, why do you need a man to give you more? Like, that's the part of the conversation that I just cannot fully understand.
And maybe
it's not love that they want.
Maybe
it's not.
Let me finish.
Why does money have to be null and void of love?
I think it's because y'all keep going to money. Like, y'all don't really chime on like the other intangibles as much. It's mostly about the money.
Because for me, it's not other tangibles. It's whole. It's all of it. If you're missing one, you can't rank one on the scale of 1 to 10. In my lifestyle, in people that I know, I don't really know any people that make $70,000
well, I know.
a year.
What about a high school teacher who loves the kids in his community, who's not on that money shit? He wants to serve.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that I am around on a daily basis, the people that I call on my phone. It's different. So I will say my vantage point for what success looks like monetarily speaking is exponentially different than most people. I understand that. And I'm not here to wrong or shame the person that makes $70,000, because the truth is every single person deserves love. But like Tasia said, that's not going to happen with me, because I live in a space where I want to follow the leadership of my man. I want my man to make the decisions inside of my household. It's not about a dollar amount. It's not, no,
because he can lead in other ways.
No,
and with finances,
you've got
even if
to
you make
lead
more.
the household. You can look. Money doesn't buy you happiness, but it buys you options.
Exactly.
This is the question. The question I want to ask in fairness.
These people just got money. They don't even, the people who think they got money don't even have no bread.
Let me ask you the question.
I disagree with you because I know the people.
Okay. You guys just saw a very, very good representation of why nearly half of modern women today are projected to be single. A great example of that. They would rather, she said, I would rather be single. And what's interesting is I usually see her particularly, because I think I've reacted to a video of her before. Usually in most cases, she'll be serving coffee. But I'm not one of those people, guys, where I think everybody needs to believe exactly the way that I do, right? Some people you're going to align with in certain areas. There are things about my own personal values in life. I'm sure you guys who watch me, you're like, yeah, Chisha's tripping on that area, and we kind of can agree to disagree. The only issue I have with this conversation is when I hear people who aren't married yet, or maybe I don't know if they came from a married household. The one thing I don't think most people consider is how long life is. This woman is here talking about how she cannot settle for a man who's not in a certain level financially. But most women with that mindset never think to themselves, what happens if life happens and he goes through a certain time period in his life where he's not on top? What happens? Are you able to submit to that man? Now, they would look at you and say, yes, because he showed me that he can get there. Well, would you date a man who's been there and he met you at the 70K? Probably not. To be clear, these are exactly one of the main factors why a lot of these chicks will be single and alone, and they will regret this. Many of them will regret this. Most of them don't play this out long term and understand what it means to truly be alone, to truly not have a family. And you might be thinking, well, she can get married to anybody today. Again, they're looking for somebody who's a high net worth individual, and most of them never find this man. They never find him. And the problem is they fell for the lie that you could be successful like a man. You could do the things a man can do, but there's only one catch is you can't change what you're attracted to. And so these chicks have outpriced themselves out of the dating market. Let's read a few comments here and see what the people have to say. Top comment here says she's intelligent, disciplined, beautiful, and grounded. She's done the work, built her life, and knows exactly what she wants and how society still tries to make her feel bad for not wanting to marry a man earning $70K. But the truth is, she's not being shallow, she's being honest. It's not just about money, it's about alignment, ambition, and being equally yoked. She's not wrong for wanting someone on her level. She's just not willing to shrink herself to make others comfortable. It is about the money. You're not going to gaslight this conversation because it is about the money. The question that was presented was, hey, if that man who was making $70K had a vision and a plan to make more, and you were able to assess his character, look over him, right? You're able to look at this guy. Can he come up? And there's plenty of people that have come up. I mean, I just saw a story recently about Denzel. I think it was Denzel. You know what? I don't want to butcher the story. We're going to talk to our AI assistant, barista, Miss Coffee. Miss Coffee, could you give me the story about how Denzel Washington's wife paid for their first date or something like that? Am I right about that?
Ooh, yes, love. You remember that right. And let me go ahead and spill that romantic, humble beginnings for you like only Miss Coffee can. Miss Coffee presents the Denzel and Pauletta Washington story.
Let's go.
So here's the legendary little-known truth about Denzel Washington and his wife Pauletta, the woman who was ride or die before he was Hollywood royalty. Back in the early days, before the Oscars, before the presidential roles and the walk that fine line in every scene swag, Pauletta paid for their first date. Yep, she footed the bill. Not only that, Denzel has said on record that she turned him down twice before finally agreeing to marry him. He proposed 3 times before she said yes. The third time's the charm, he joked in an interview. They've been married since 1983, which in Hollywood years is basically the same as forever. Why it matters? Because Pauletta saw the man in him before the star. She wasn't chasing clout, she was betting on potential. She believed in him, invested in him, and paid the tab before the world even knew his name. Denzel even said in an interview, "She taught me about faith, spirituality, love. She was there when I had nothing. She carried our family, Miss Coffee's final sip. She paid for the first date, but baby, he's been paying it back in loyalty, love, and legacy ever since."
Listen, when I first heard of this story, I thought, you know what? This makes sense. This makes sense because their marriage seems genuine. I pray and hope that that continues for them. And I already know what women are going to say to this. Are you trying to say that we should pay for first dates? No, I'm not. What I am saying is some of you do not have a mindset or character that can endure through all seasons of a marriage. Some women are just wives, like from day one, from the time they left their parents' house, something was done right, raising them up. They understand. They're able to go through the different turbulences of life. I don't even know if that's a word, turbulences. Probably not. But you guys understand what I mean. And these chicks who swear that if they met Obama or they met Denzel, these are the men they look up to and say, oh, what a great couple. They think that they would have done this when no man is even asking them to pay for the first date at all. Speaking, most of the chicks that even are sitting here praising what's been spoken of here in this video don't out-earn the average man. The average man still out-earns the average woman. And yes, even in the black community. No one's asking you to pay for the first date. Men who value marriage, who are not picking modern women, are looking for a woman whose deciding factor isn't his wallet and is more so his character. I mean, he's talking about she's giving him God and fixing his spiritual life. And I've noticed that the older Denzel has gotten, he's been more vocal. I don't care what people say. People are going to have their conspiracies about anybody. You know, no one's an angel. Neither am I. Nobody is. I know some people think they are. But I've seen him be more vocal about finding peace, about finding God. You don't think his wonderful wife has had something to do with that? They are lost. A few more comments here. Somebody else here says someone making $500K and someone making $70K ain't even going to be in the same room. Okay, somebody else here added, let's be realistic. Someone making $70K would have a very hard time participating in $500K lifestyle, especially if they are just starting on a business plan. I mean, come on, just stop it. Stop with this like lifestyle. Marriage is not a lifestyle. You're building a family. You are going to war to build a legacy. This obsession with lifestyle, activities, vacation is why none of you are married, because most men who are saying one day, yeah, just keep on going, one day I'll give you the ring. Most of these chicks who are sitting here talking about lifestyle and, oh, this, and that, they have this fantasy of a marriage where they'll just be taking trips and enjoying vacations. And they don't understand that you got to get to work. Yes, you have a good time, but you're learning to grow with somebody. People change. Life gets challenging. Life is good. Life is great. Life is amazing. Life is beautiful, unbelievable sometimes, but then it's back to being normal. Sometimes you're bored. But this idea that these women want to build empires and I'm looking for a business partner, stop that. Goes on to say, secondly, she's saying she has money. Therefore, she's justified, this woman goes on to say, in wanting someone who has it in addition to the intangibles. Third, finances are one of the leading causes of conflict in relationships. So it wouldn't make sense to even get involved with someone she feels can't fully participate in her life. Yeah, oh, but listen, if you can't balance a budget and you're earning $500,000 and somebody's adding 70K and you can't figure that out, that has more to do with financial responsibility in the household, because the majority of married people and those that do not divorce and make it, they're not earning anywhere near that much. Goes on to read, so it wouldn't make sense to even get involved with someone who feels can't fully participate in her life. It will be hard for her to submit to someone who doesn't meet her where she is, or someone who doesn't make her feel safe to fully rest in the feminine energy of receiving. The feminine energy of receiving. Mercy. Somebody else who says, so many people living in mansions but not homes. That's a bar. This man says, you're so right. Somebody else here added, that's her standard. She is truthful. Doesn't matter. It still can be wrong. Another person who says, what she meant to say was, she's not going to respect the man making less than her. And should she stop working her $500K career to have a baby for him, that man won't be able to maintain her lifestyle on his 70K. That's all. This is the second part of the conversation. Let's get into it.
The conversations that we have, and women are literally saying, I make $300,000 a year. If he makes $100K, he's not viable.
But wait, Doc, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying leadership. It's about leadership. So for me,
but money doesn't equate to leadership at all.
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are going to lead me in the ways, that means you need to have the mindset. That means you need to have the mentality, the emotions, the spirit, the energy. If you're going to lead this household, I don't want to have to slow down to let you pass me up.
The average woman doesn't make that much money.
That's true.
Right? The actual listener is making 50, 70, maybe 80. Right. So what happens to the man that...
The average listener is making around 50. They're not making 70, and they're definitely not making 80. Just to be clear.
Is he now completely disqualified? Because we've completely changed the conversation. We said average. Now we're talking about men that make $300,000 a year. We can't even keep the conversation to the same topic of the average man. He's still being bypassed in the conversation. Yeah. So if he's being bypassed in the conversation where we can't even stay on topic and talk about the man, imagine the women that's listening to the conversation, their mind is still going to the $300,000 man.
Can I just
real quick, I peep the ring. I know a wife when I see one. They all kind of sound the same. She's serving coffee. Now I could be wrong here, but I'm probably not. So shout out to this lovely lady.
Still going to the $300,000 man.
Can I just say one more thing? Even if you are that 50, 60, 70,000 earning man, there is still a desire for you at some point to make enough to where your wife doesn't have to work.
Yes.
Are people not able to make a living and provide a beautiful life with $50,000? That's crazy.
No,
that is exactly what he said. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. And to allude to a person, if a person makes under a certain amount of money, to say that they don't have the ability to lead, provide, and have all of these things. That's exactly what y'all are saying. Y'all are going around about a way to say it, but that's how people are perceiving the things that y'all say.
There's a component of this that we are missing, and that is that men that are...
Notice how the chicks who are waiting for their millionaires magically have no rings on their fingers.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
It's like poof, they just bare hands. I'm just saying.
Not happy with where they are financially are mean. They treat you terribly, okay? If you meet somebody and they're a 300K woman, that may not be quite the lane for you. It doesn't mean that I value you less. It doesn't mean, but you're going to perform better. You're going to be a better person. You're going to have a better mindset. You're going to be in a clearer space when you feel valued, safe, at peace with where you are. And it's no harm, no foul in that. Stay there in that lane with the women that are in alignment with you. And don't be mad at us calling us broke, gold diggers, dirty, bald head scallywags on the internet because we are in this lane. It would be wonderful to meet a man and he's like, babe, let's do this together. Let's build. I got this, you got that. You got my back, I got your back. But the reality of it is because I went to school, I was valedictorian, I graduated, I got a master's degree, I did all this. Now you mad at me because you're not in my lane. Get in your lane, make some more money, and then come over here.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off when I say this, but it's this type of mindset in modern women of prioritizing money before character, before God, before anything else that had Diddy having his way. That had Diddy having his way. Drink the coffee.
It'll make you feel better.
Drink the coffee. It'll make you feel better. As always, we're going to check out some of these comments, see what the people had to say. Top comment here says, we got to stop listening to people who ain't married. Right. Somebody else here says, the lady with the short hair lives in reality. Another person says, protect the woman in the gray shirt at all costs. Somebody else here says, yet all this talk, but not one mention loving each other and respect. All I want to know is, where are all these black women who make $300K? Somebody else who says, so rich men don't treat women bad? Do you guys think that this type of mentality, like when a juror, just a random, probably crazy thought, but I'm going to entertain it anyways. When a jury gets on a stand and they see a billionaire and he was just having his way with the women he was with, and they were like, oh yes, I wanted to do it, but then I found out he's a monster. And they're thinking, you could have dated so many other people. Why did you pick this? Do you guys ever think that a jury that understands how a certain type of woman moves in general and what vulnerabilities that type of a mindset can open her up to, do you think they sit down and go, you probably thought it was all peaches and cream. You thought you'd hit the jackpot. Do you think that goes into the mindset? I'm always curious to know what you think.